This picture here shows a retinue of angels that are somewhere in the azure skies, and this is sort of a future view of when Jesus returns with the angels and so on. When they talk about the clouds, it would be these angels in their white robes that appear to be clouds, and they would be moving so fast. By the time you hear a startle up there, when you look up, they're just coming closer to the earth and so on. But is this an actual representation of what angels are going to be? I say no, because in the scriptures it says that He made man a little lower than the angels. And I interpret that to mean that angels do not have a form, but there might be a way that God has created them to, if they were to materialize in heaven, they're going to have this kind of height and stature. And since man was created a little lower than them, I want to believe that they were more massive than man. And since this man, being 6 or 8 or whatever stories big and tall, would have become angels, then maybe he had some more growing to do, and that special changing from mortal to immortal, and then they would have become angels. So this depiction here of angels as being like our height, maybe 10 feet, 7 feet, that's inaccurate, because this is how we as humans could figure out this is the best that we could have, especially if they believe in evolution. You say, boy, we've reached 6 feet tall, yes, and these angels are 10 feet tall, wow. But no, they were much bigger than Adam and Eve, and they were giants. And so that's that. But what's significant here, all across the country you have people getting together in various communities. They call them 10 steps, Narcotics Anonymous, Alcohol Anonymous, call them programs, all kinds of stuff they come up with. Folks who got themselves into some serious habits, smoking, drugs, drinking, whatever they do, porn or whatever. And what these people that form these organizations don't understand is this, that while man was all these stories, tall and big and so forth, and small and the angels, and they were bigger, a third of them were evil, or are evil. And they're bent on sort of effacing the image of God. Now, God said that He made man in His own image, in His likeness, and so on. And of course, we never. I mean, you got to get to the understanding of that. I don't know the Hebrew, and I don't have time to check it out. But it's like this: if an architect creates a building, we could say this is a building in the image and likeness of this architect over there. But the architect and the building are two different situations. He's a human, that's a structure. And I think it's almost the same thing, because we're not gods, we're not invisible, we're not immortal, we're not omnipresent, we're not omniscient, we're not so many different things. We're just humans, and we were created a little lower than the angels, which is obviously God is bigger than the angels and more important than the angels, and the whole 9 yards. And so when these people go and hook up with the devil, they depict the devil all through the ages as all kinds of different things, as a man with a pitchfork with a couple of horns and so on. But the devil is not that. The devil is a guy in a nice suit, a big scientist, big astronomer, big physicist, big Darwin and so on. They're influenced by the devil, and the devil materializes many times, but I don't think we could say that Darwin was necessarily a devil. I know he was under the influence of the devil. So when these people, from Halloween to all the various evil little practices as young people, by the time they reach, where they could go and stray and do stuff and got the income and all that, they could smoke and drink and do the whole thing, they're so tightly hooked in with it. These demons are holding their hands so strong. Well, not even strong, just holding the hands. There's no human in earth, no matter to jump up and to pray and to carry on, could release them from that grip, that grasp. As the guy sang the song, it's like, it's so easy, like taking candy from a baby. Yeah, that baby just born, he could resist a grown man, especially one that lift weights and but 6 feet tall. It's impossible, unless his father come with a gun and tell him, you better loose that child and get out of here. He don't stand a prayer. All right. Yeah, of course he can grow up if you keep him on his hand. He can grow up just like him, and then he can pull it out of his hand one day as he keeps getting older. not the same thing in this realm with these angels. And so, what people have to do, offer the kids up to the Lord, give them kids to the Lord instead of to Halloween, wherein when they're not watching, He's going to lead them into all the various forms of evil. But when they put their kids in the hands of the Lord and ask them to watch when they can't see or when they're too weak to do anything He could help and so on, and I bet you those children are going to come out different, because God is really going to be, He's going to be on the job 24/7. He's going to be watching all around. He has a path that they could take that will lead them straight to heaven, straight to success, less grief and less all these problems that the regular person has out there. And so it is very instructive to understand that you can be these devils. We know that when Christ was on earth, the devils recognized him and saying, "You're the God, the Son of Son of the living God." But yet the Jews and others don't even believe that He's God. But the devils know. In fact, the devils say, "You believe that there's a God. You're doing fine." But the devils also believe, but they tremble. They tremble knowing what is coming. And what they do is fool humans that, "Oh man, you're God, and everything's gonna be good," and so on. But they're trembling inside because they know what is coming. And perhaps a weak illustration would be that if there's going to be fire, the more butts you could have in that fire, the less hot the fire is going to be, theoretically. But I mean, that fire that we're talking about, that God is going to throw at man there, I don't care if the whole world is in it, it's going to still doing the job. And while I'm on that, the fire that God is using is such a different fire, because I recall during the temple time when they were offering sacrifices, bulls and bullocks and so on, it don't seem as if this fire took long to consume the flesh. That was a fire that came from heaven. And in cremation and even fires, arson, whatever, a human body takes forever to be destroyed with fire. But this fire that God has is going to just make things nothing real fast. And it has the power also to take angels, these evil angels who are immortal, and burn them up. I mean, they were not supposed to die, but yet God could kill them who were not supposed to die. That's amazing. And as one of my high school Bible teachers said, that somebody, Ellen White, the prophetess, said that she saw the devil somewhere with his cheek in his hand, and he started looking old, because he isn't in the source. He isn't in the source of God's love and blessings. And it seems as if a part of the whole immortality thing and the whole righteousness and forever young has something to do with God, something coming from Him, something, I don't understand it, but it has to be a connection with Him too, so that if time were to last long enough, without even God destroying the devil actively in the fire, he may die because he's not getting that renewal source of power from the God and so on. And whatever he has, I don't know, it might burn out or whatever, like the sun. It has been there for over 6,000 years and hasn't burnt out as yet, because somebody God is fueling it with something that it keeps, every day the same. It's not burning out. And I mean, we try something like that. We try something like that out here. It's going to consume things. Yeah. So this picture here is not necessarily a true representative of angels, and angels are massive. When the Jews were marching on to the land of Canaan, to the promised land, they had many experiences that they of themselves don't seem to understand, and they're saying, "Yeah, we're so powerful, wow." But then many times they were humbled to see that they're not really that. They had a battle across and they did well, and they're on a roll now. They say, "We're going to take on this other village over there," and they lost big times, because God helped them hero to win this battle, and they forgot it's God who fought the battle. I don't know why He don't do it by Himself and just don't have them involved, because it's very easy for humans to think, "Oh man, look how good I'm at." Wow, yeah. And they go out and try stuff, and they got destroyed. So the walls of Jericho, some people try to tell me that the blast of a trumpet could do this resonation and it could shake things and cause buildings to collapse. No, man, it's not that trumpet and all that march around the place that caused the walls of Jericho to fall down. It was just, maybe nice music so they'll feel good and keep them marching and tune or whatever. But it's angels that tore up that wall. One angel could tear up a whole set of stuff. because that type of vision I have of an angel, 10-story tall, big like you're building over there, big arms, like Mike could tear up that wall in a second, you know. And so with a couple of as partners, man, they could tear up everything. With a lot of them, they could make the biggest army run. They could make the biggest army armament and everything else look like child's play. So angels are special. You don't worship angels now; it's only the God you worship. But you need to know who could be on your side and who the enemy is. And there's only the good angels could run the bad angels because they're supposedly are, or at one time they were all equal. But it seems as if the devil and his angels are declining, while the angels that are loyal to God have gotten stronger, because it's a daily thing. They're growing stronger and better and whatever. So I just say I'm enjoying this. What do you think? You have any other views that you could help me out to understand this concept a little better?